hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could be with us once again here on Amazon Live. So if you guys are just now joining us on the Amazon platform, welcome. Glad you all could be with us. If you're new to us on Amazon, make sure you guys do hit that follow button. You'll see it either here in this corner or down below. You also will see some of the projects from our next guest. We're excited to welcome back Chanelle Coleman Wesley to our broadcast. You guys know as the author of this book. We have it highlighted in the carousel. The Kindle is only $3.99 right now. But she said yes to herself unapologetically. You guys can see it here. Also, she has the paperback edition like what I have here. And then there's this book, Naked and Not Ashamed. You guys can see it here. We have it highlighted in the carousel for you guys as well. That Kindle edition also you see is only $3.99, or you can be able to get the paperback as well. She also is part of anthologies too. We talked to Chanelle not only about the work she's been able to do with her platform, but also how she's been able to motivate and inspire others. She also provides services for business owners, entrepreneurs, to help them promote themselves as well. When I talk to her about that, we are simulcasting our broadcast, I should say. So hello to you, TAW Production, joining us on IG. Appreciate you. We also are on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. If you guys have any questions for Chanelle, make sure you guys put those in the comment section. But Chanelle, welcome back to the broadcast.
Cyrus, thanks so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Look, the pleasure's definitely all mine. You have a lot going on, Chanelle. It seems like I say that every time you come on, but I'm so excited about the different things you've been able to do. You've been able to write your own individual books. As I mentioned, she said yes to herself unapologetically. Also, Naked and Not Ashamed. You also have the anthologies you've been able to do. You're doing speaking engagements, traveling across the country, empowering and pouring into women. And then outside of all of that, providing services for business owners, authors, being able to promote their services. What has it been like for you, Chanelle, to be able to identify your gifts and to be able to use those gifts?
Well, Cyrus, first of all, it's been truly exciting, so rewarding to be able to meet and connect with people, to really engage. And it's just been something that I've been taking step by step. It's been something I've just truly appreciated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think, for so many people, Chanelle, as they are kind of looking at you, hey, man, it's well good to be to see you over there on the IG side. As people are looking at you, that, I'm sure you get this all the time, like, wow, you stay so busy. How are you able to do this? How are you able to do that? Have you always known that you could do all the things that you're doing today?
I really love that question, Cyrus. I think it just takes people who are surrounding you, people who believe in you, like yourself. I have an amazing publicist. I just want to shout his name out really quick, Cyrus Webb, who really kind of pushes you, helps to hold you accountable. And it's necessary, in order to do big things, it's good to have people who are doing those things that you want to do and seeing it happen in real time, because that really success leaves clues. And so watching your steps has really helped to inspire me in my journey. And just the fact that when you say, Chanelle, I believe in you, it means a lot to me. And it makes me feel like, okay, I can meet this next feat.
Well, I appreciate that. And it's true. I do believe in you, and you're doing the work, Chanelle. And that's the thing. So I want to talk about this because when I was prepping for this segment, I wanted this to be a little bit different than what we talked about before. We focus a lot of time on She Said Yes to Herself Unapologetically, which is a great book. But I want to talk about Naked and Not Ashamed for a moment, because I think for a lot of people, they don't realize. I want to highlight again on the Amazon side for you guys. I don't think a lot of people realize what you've gone through personally, Chanelle, that you're able to highlight in this book. I want to talk about that because I think for a lot of people, they don't share the downsides. We talk about social media seems to be the highlight reel for a lot of people. What has it been like for you to be so undressed and so raw and real with people like you have been in this book, Naked and Not Ashamed?
Cyrus, I really love that question. Naked and Not Ashamed, the transformational devotional experience is just that. It's an undressing, it's an unveiling. It's having transparent conversations, the things that we sometimes feel uncomfortable talking about. Sometimes you think that people are just hitting all of these highs and you don't see the lows that were necessary for them to go through to be able to get onto the other side. And so my journey just really kind of started after having several life events. Life be lifing. It's not proper English, but we all understand it. Life can hand you out certain cards, and when life deals you those cards, you're faced with two circumstances. Either you're going to get up, and keep running, or you're going to lay there. And so Naked and Not Ashamed really talks about that transition. It talks about the experience that I had with molest and abuse. It talks about me losing my daughter, what it was like going through. My mother fell ill and she succumbed to her illness. It was just a lot of different raw experiences, but it also provides highlights and ways to be able to kind of unpack your story, because the reader, she has a story too. So allowing her to address her story, see some similarities from a woman in the Word of God, and then also look at some parallels in my own life experience.
Yeah. And outside of everything you just mentioned, Chanelle, your own health challenges too, you're able to
Yeah.
talk about in this book as well. And I wanted to bring it up for this reason, because I think, and I had this conversation with my mom recently, because my mom turned 77 and she said to me, I feel like, I'm not doing anything because I can't do what I used to do. And I'm like, you're not expected to do what you used to do. Life changes you. We evolve. We do what we can do. And that's what I want to talk to you about, because I think because people think, Chanelle, they can't do the big things, right? That they can't do anything. How did you realize that it really is about just being able to do what you can do and taking that first step?
Cyrus, that's a great question. I had to recognize to celebrate my small wins. And that was one of the things that I talked about. And she said, yes. I think nobody, you don't have to tell people to celebrate when it's a graduation or it's some big accolade that you've gotten to, but it's those small steps that get you to that bigger mountain that you're trying to climb. Without those small wins, you wouldn't realize that big win. And so being able to celebrate those small wins by saying yes, congratulating yourself, doing some type of self-care, celebrating what you're doing at this space will help you to get to that next level that you're trying to reach.
Yeah. And I think that is the big thing here. I see you guys over there on X. Thank you so much for being with us on X. If you guys have any questions or comments for Chanelle, make sure you guys do put those in the comment section there. And I think, again, that's why you're the best person, Chanelle, to be able to really take the lead in this. What has that felt like, though, to be the leader? Because I think about, I have what I call my Moses moments at times, where I feel like God is trying to tell me to do this and that. And I'm like, well, you know what? Such and such would be better at this. I think they would actually do a better job than me, when instead of realizing that I've been given this assignment for a reason. What has that been like for you to embrace that the assignment you have was given to you for a reason?
You know what, Cyrus? I think just as a creative, when you're looking for certain things, you try to look for them first in other things and other entities. And if you can't find them, there's just the innate, desire in you to go ahead and to create and to provide and to make sure that we have this community. And so it's a humbling experience. It's something that keeps me on task and on point, because when you have other people looking up to you to be able to meet certain objectives, then you don't want to fall short of what the expectation is. So it keeps you grounded. It keeps you, tough on yourself, making sure that you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing. And so, like I said, it's humbling. It's a privilege, but it also shares with you the responsibility of it all.
Such a great thing. And so you're able to write these books. You're a best-selling author. I want to talk about that experience. What has that been like for you to be a multiple-time best-selling author, Chanelle, and to be able to see your books receiving that recognition?
Cyrus, it's amazing. What's crazy is back when I was like muddling my way through my darkest moments, I tell myself, I was like, I'm going to be a best-selling author. I had this vision board and I put all of these various things on the board, and, best-selling author was one. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to continue to put out my plays, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to start this, and I'm going to do this. And to see those things come to fruition it's been just inspiring, motivational, humbling, frightening at the same time, because it's like, wait a minute, I can actually do the things I'm thinking I can do. Yeah. But it's so rewarding at the same point in time. So I'm excited that people are recognizing what the work is and that it's resonating with them.
Love that. Speaking of best-selling authors, Tina Siemens is joining us on Facebook.
Hey,
Chanelle, she
Tina.
says hello. Another best-selling author. Congratulations to you again, Tina, on your
Congratulations.
children's book. And that leads us to tribe. Everything just kind of flows into each other because Chanelle. One thing I can say this to our audience. I get on Chanelle about this at times. Not that I fuss with people. You guys know I don't do that. But but, but Chanelle is one of these people who, when given an opportunity, she's going to do everything she can to squeeze as many people into that opportunity as possible. And I'll say sometimes, Chanelle, well, that's great. That's great that you want to do that, but this is your opportunity. But I love that about you in this sense, not on the PR sense, but on this sense, Chanelle, because you are someone who wants to share the blessings. You are someone who wants to share the spotlight. So I want to ask you, how important has it been for you to surround yourself with people who want to do the same thing for you?
Cyrus, that is a really a great question. I'm telling you, you know what? Sometimes people teach you how to treat them, because sometimes you want to go above and beyond for everything and for everyone,
Mhm.
and you try to overextend yourself. And then sometimes people teach you that this is not what you should do with everyone. And
Yeah.
so I'm now becoming to a point where I'm more selective on who I'm trying to go in and go all out for, and looking for like-minded people who are looking for the same thing, and not just looking for someone else to provide the table and the chairs and the meal and the sides and plateware, but you're gonna bring a dish so we can all sit down and have something to eat. And so that's been something that's made me just become more accountable to myself about what I want, because I teach people how to treat me. And sometimes you can have a victim mentality about people doing things to you, but people only do what you allow them to do.
So true. I had a conversation with an actress friend of mine in Los Angeles right before the pandemic shut everything down in early 2020. And one of the things that she said, and it stuck with me because it is such a good point, is that a lot of times we don't get where we're supposed to go because we're trying to carry other people with us
Yes.
that aren't meant to go. And it ends up not only slowing us down, but sometimes keeping us from opportunities that are waiting for us, right? Um, Talk about that, because I think that kind of goes to accountability. And I love what you said is beautiful, Chanelle, about, people do, and I'm a big proponent of that. I'm a nice guy, I feel like.
You are. You
but
are.
but my mom, everyone in my family, people I work with tell you, but I'm about business though
You
too.
are.
So it's like I want people to win, but I'm not going to stop myself from winning for you. And I love that
Mm,
you said that about teaching people, how to treat you, but also teaching people what you're going to accept and not accept.
mm-hmm.
But Chanelle, people have such respect for you. Kate Thurman, who we also work with,
Yeah.
she sings your praises in every conversation I have with her. What has that been like for you to know that you've been able to make that type of impact with other people?
Cyrus, it's just been a whirlwind. There are some people that you meet and you do business with, and you have a business relationship, and then there are people who are just a part of your community and part of your fabric.
Yeah.
What I can say is God just truly blessed me with the relationship that I have with Kate, both as a friend, as a client, as everything, because she's just an amazing overall person. And sometimes God just blesses you with people who are like-minded, of that tribe that I was talking about. Because at first, Cyrus, I thought everybody was my tribe, and I thought
Mm,
we could do all of these things together.
interesting.
And time after time, people have just shown me that that's not what I can do. And so I've had to learn that lesson. And it's crazy, because if you don't learn the lesson the first time, you'll be presented with that same, situation until you get the lesson.
Yeah.
And so my last go round, I finally said, you know what? I'm learning to do better for myself, because I deserve better. I deserve to get also what I give. And so now I'm at a point where I'm just very, selective now about what I'm willing to do and how I'm willing to do it.
Yeah, and I want to say I want to speaking to those on the Amazon side here, but I think that is such a great point. And you know what? It's hard, Chanel. I'm like that too.
Hmm.
I'm someone I have never been in professionally. I've never been a person who only felt like I could win or only feel like
Hmm.
I can go to a certain level. It has hurt me. That has been one of the most hurtful part of my journey is that
Mm.
you can't want it more than someone wants it for themselves. And you
Yes.
can't outwork the person who it's supposed to be for. And so
Mm-mm.
that level of acceptance is not easy, but it also shows how much you care for other people. Tina says, Amen. People pleasing is powerful, but as we grow becoming selective, that's valuable. That's so true.
Hmm.
And a lot of times I don't think people realize how detrimental it can be for them on their journey by not learning
Hmm.
that lesson, as he said. And I love the way you're able to explain that. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, welcome. Having a great conversation already with our guest, who is best-selling author Chanelle Coleman Wesley. She's also a speaker. She's an entrepreneur as well, and she's been able to do something great. You guys have probably seen it. I know if you followed her at least for the past year online, you know that Chanelle's a person of many talents. She's a voiceover artist as well. She's done some great promos for my business, for Conversations Media Group, and other clients literally across the country. Talk to us about that journey for you, Chanelle, being a voiceover artist. Was that something you realized you wanted to do?
If I'm going to be honest, Cyrus, when I started, when I became an author, I was thinking, okay, how do I tell people about my book? And then I was looking at various book trailers and stuff, and I just assumed that it would be so expensive. So I told myself, I'm going to go on Canva. I'm going to figure this thing out. And so I went into Canva and I figured the thing out. And so as I started doing things, I did it for the first anthology that I was in, and I showed them the video, and they were like, "Hey, can you include us in the video?" I was like, "Well, sure. Whoever wants to be in, just drop your information down, and I'll include you." And then, other people just started asking me more and more to do things. And at first, it really wasn't a business. I was just doing it. Like if somebody wanted me to do something, I'm like, "Okay, sure, I can do it for you." And it just kind of grew from there. And so it just started from something I was just passionate about. I'm a creative anyway, so I love storytelling. So
Mm-hmm.
I figure I look at it as short stories. And so it just kind of blooms and blossoms from there.
Love that. Hello to you on the IG side. Hello to you, Debbie Hines. Going to be able to see you. I think it's M Social MG. Hello to you as well. And you do an amazing job. I tell people it's great to know your gifts, know your lane. That's not my lane, and you can tell you actually enjoy it. And so when you see the way that your clients have been responding to it, Chanelle, how does that make you feel that something you created for them is something that's been well received?
Cyrus, I think that that's the best part about it, because when you look at someone's business and brand, you want to really kind of dive into what their specific business and brand is. And I
Right.
don't like having things that are cookie cutter.
Yeah.
I like it to be individualized and specific to this person's business or brand. And so when you do the work, and it is some work because I do ask some extensive questions so I can kind of delve into what your business is and what the desired result or outcome you would like it to be.
Mhm.
But when you provide, the finished product and the person has looked it over and they are satisfied, it is just such a rewarding, experience. I feel good, helping someone else in their journey. So it just makes you feel good on the backside. So it's something I'm passionate about. It doesn't feel like work because I like it.
Right.
And it's also rewarding because of people's experiences.
Love that. Sergeant Ford Academy, good to be able to see you. I owe you a message. I'm going to definitely get with you this weekend on IG. Thank you so much for being with us. So, with that being said, we talked about your journey as a best-selling author, Chanelle. We talked about you using your platform as a motivational speaker. We talked about your services. So, I want to talk about something that you wrote in. She said yes to herself, unapologetically. I'm going to highlight it again for our audience there. Again, you guys can get the Kindle edition right now for $3.99 here on Amazon, or you can get the paperback as I have here for $19.99. One of the things that you said as you're addressing the reader, and you call them, of course, your audience is predominantly female, and you call them gorgeous. And one of the
Yes.
things that you talk about is not waiting on permission. I want to
Mm.
talk about that. What would you say to our audience for those who may be waiting on someone else, waiting on an opportunity? What would you say to them, Chanelle, about the importance of creating their own opportunities?
I would say to them, if you are waiting for someone else to open the door or for someone else to come as a knight in shining armor and save the day, then you're going to stay stuck in that castle. You're never going to get out. The way out is designed for you. It's your ability to be able to access the power and the gifts and the abilities that God has granted to you. And you're going to feel so much more capable, and you're going to open the door for so many other people by walking out of it. I think sometimes we feel as if we need, to check people's, they validate what we're doing is okay. What I'm doing, are you agreeable with what I'm doing? And sometimes you just have to put all of that to the side and ask yourself, am I walking in my purpose? Am I living up to my truest potential? And if I'm not, why not? And why shouldn't I access it? So I really want to challenge people who are sitting on the sidelines to get into the game of life, or else life will just pass you by.
Yeah, I want to read what you said there for those who have the print edition on page 75. You said this, Chanelle: gorgeous, you are beautiful, and you are enough. Period. End of the story. The truth is, we don't need to see our worth through the eyes of mere mortals, but through the eyes of the Almighty God. How has that reminder helped you, Chanelle, as you look in the mirror, that you are enough? Period.
Hmm. I think it's because, first of all, my faith base. A lot of times I say gorgeous because I think as women, we can sometimes be catty and feel like competitive, sizing up other women. And I'm at a space where now I'm very accepting and very appreciative of other women's beauty and helping them to see that, because I had to see my own. Just having my own low self-esteem and the issues that I had to go through.
Yeah.
And as I look through myself through those tainted lenses, I would have never realized who God called me to be. So I had to look higher than what my own eyesight could be. And I had to look at myself at the way that God looks at me and what God says about me. And in the word of God, he just affirms who we are and what our worth is and what our value is, so much so that he was willing to give his son to die for us. So it just makes you, own who you are, own your identity in Christ and who God's called you to be.
Yeah, such a great message and such a great conversation. Again, everyone, Chanelle Coleman Wesley has been our guest. Make sure you guys get her book. She said yes to herself unapologetically and naked and not ashamed. You guys can get both of these here on Amazon. I have them highlighted there in the carousel. There's Naked and Not Ashamed. The Kindle edition is $3.99, or you can get the paperback edition, or you can be able to get She Said Yes to Herself Unapologetically, the Kindle edition. We have it highlighted there, or the paperback. You also see in the carousel, we didn't talk about it here, another powerful anthology you released this year. Talk to them about transitioning, Chanelle, and what made you want to be a part of that.
Transitioning to the other side, Ivy Caldwell was the visionary on that particular project, and I had accepted the call because I had told her when she asked me the year previous, I told her I wasn't ready to write about it, and I felt like the next time that she was going to do it, that I would be ready. Who knew that it was going to be the following year? And so I'm a woman of my word. If I say that I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, and I felt that it was necessary. Because so many people are hurting. I think we've all experienced loss, the death of a loved one,
Right.
a friend, a coworker, and it's hard transitioning, because what is your life going to look like after this person passes? And for so many, some people cut their life off and they don't continue to live their life out to its fullest potential. And so this book really provides some insights, some inspiration on what to do in transitioning, when you're going through the unfortunate demise of someone, if they're beginning that transitioning period, or even if the person has already passed, things that you can do, practical steps. It also is a resource guide in addition to the testimonials by the authors, but it's just a comprehensive book that provides help in healing during grief and loss.
Love that. Well, congratulations again to you, Chanelle, all the great work you've been able to do. How can our audience stay connected with you?
Cyrus, I want to thank you again for this amazing time to be able to talk with you and connect. And thank you for all that you do for me. And people can connect with me by following me, Chanelle Coleman Wesley, across Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn.
All right. Well, make sure you guys are staying connected with Chanelle. We'll make sure that she's tagged in all the different places here. Joel, hello to you. Good to be able to see you over there on the IG side as well. I appreciate all you guys across the multiple platforms. For you guys tuning in on Amazon Live, thank you so much for being with us. Make sure you guys are staying tuned. We have our 600th episode of Cyrus Webb Presents on Amazon this weekend. So make sure you guys are joining us there. I'll be posting about it as we are now helping you guys prepare for Prime Day. There's a lot of great sales that are going on already before Prime Day starts. I'm going to be working with 40 great brands this weekend to be able to showcase with you guys. So make sure you guys are watching out for that. Again, our 600th episode here on Amazon Live. Very excited about that. So make sure you guys are following us. Hit that follow button in this corner or down below to stay connected with us there. Again, Chanelle, thank you so much for being with us too. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you all soon. Take care.